The liquid culture.
How's it going, everybody? Thank you for joining me here today on Wine Tasting Tuesday. This is the second video in my Wine Tasting 101 series that I'm putting out for you guys, all in an attempt to get you to start tasting with intent. We're going to keep this one short. I gave you all the intro about what the whole point of this series was in the first video, so that therefore we can kind of move through these and get some nice quick content out here for you guys to learn a little bit more about these wines and how to taste them. So today's video is all about Chardonnay. First video we did was Pinot Gris, so started a little bit on the lighter side for white wine, and now we're moving into Chardonnay, a very well-known white grape varietal. If you want to know more about Chardonnay, really dive deep on the Chardonnay grape and what you can expect, how it's done in different ways in different places. I've got a Chardonnay write-up as well as a video where I tasted two different Mayacamas Chardonnays from Napa Valley. Right there on the website, theliquidculture.com, and as well as on my YouTube page. If you just want to pop over there and search for the Chardonnay video, you can learn all about Chardonnay. So today we are just going to focus specifically on this wine and talk about tasting this wine and how to taste wine, specifically this Chardonnay. Now, a couple housekeeping items before we dive into it. Wanted to talk a little bit about glassware. So another kind of plug for another video on my site. Underneath the wine guide section of my website, you can find a video where I talk all about glassware and how important glassware is, but not as much so as you would imagine. I'm not a huge glassware snob, but I do find that having some particular things to think about whenever choosing your glassware is important, and there definitely are 2 or 3 different glasses that I like to use for specific varietals. One of which being the Burgundy glass, which I'm using today. I'll be using this glass in all of my Pinot Noir Wednesday videos because this glass is intended, it is shaped with the intent of really accentuating flavor and aroma of Burgundy varietals. So Chardonnay and Pinot Noir, whether that's in New World or Old World. I like to drink when I'm really trying to taste a wine, really trying to dive deep into it. If it's a Pinot Noir or a Chardonnay, drinking it out of this glass right here. That's number one. Number two, I had this out last time I shot the Wine Tasting 101 video and totally forgot. I just blew it off completely. So this was my level 3 WSET, Wine and Spirits Education Trust, systematic approach to tasting card. This talks all about what to kind of look for on your checklist when you're going through and really, again, like I said, tasting wine with intent. It talks about looking at clarity, color, condition, flavor profiles, and it really categorizes everything in a really nice way here on the back. All the different kind of flavors and aromas that you can pick out in a wine. It gives you the kind of generic category like I talk about a lot, really kind of trying to break down flavors, and then tells you some things that you can find within each of those categories. So I'm going to find a way to either get a copy of this out on my website, or maybe kind of come up, maybe I'll design my own that I can get out to you guys as well. But this is a really great resource. It was a really great resource for me when I was first starting to taste wines with intent. So let's get into the wine today, guys. The wine that we are tasting on this video is the 2016 Ramey Chardonnay from Fort Ross Seaview. I'll have a little bit more detail on the write-up on the website, but this comes from a small sub-AVA Fort Ross Seaview in Sonoma Coast in Northern California. A very, very classic area for Chardonnay production, coming from a producer who started in 1996 and who really the idea behind Ramey is that you know, Dave Ramey, he really wants to bring old world techniques to the new world, input some new world innovation to try and create wines that are as good as they possibly can be. Terroir is very important when it comes to the wines made at Ramey. They make a range of wines from Cab to Pinot to Syrah to Chardonnay, and they're always sure to make the terroir shine through with the fruit. So this is a great expression of Chardonnay for me to taste here with you guys today. Again, this is going to be a Chardonnay that's made in the New World, but with Old World influence. So this is going to be kind of the middle ground of Chardonnay, and you can certainly find Chardonnay that go heavier on the Old World, where they're more mineral, acid, light, driven, kind of mineral driven, acid driven, lighter expressions, but still very flavorful expressions from the New World, or that hardcore Old World side of the coin where you've got a lot of oak influence, a lot of buttery, creamy things going on with them, which come from the malolactic fermentation as well as oak aging of the Chardonnay, which a lot of people are very familiar with that style. Chardonnay is a very versatile grape. You can find it in all kind of shapes and sizes, but this Ramey is a really nice middle point. So talk about our steps when it comes to tasting with intent and assessing a wine. So we're going to look at color first thing. So this one, color is a little darker than that Pinot Gris that we tasted in the first episode, but you know, we can see more dark color here. I would say it's still kind of dark straw. I wouldn't call this ultra gold color, definitely not the darkest Chardonnay that I've ever seen, so I would say definitely in that dark straw category. Definitely nice and clear, even though this wine is fined, which means a lot of the big particles are taken out of this wine before it's bottled, but it is not filtered, removing those minor, small particles. So a little slight kind of haze to it, but definitely not as cloudy as some completely unfined and unfiltered wines can be. So that's color. Let's get into the aroma here. Really nice aromatics coming right out of the glass. It does have a very kind of pungent, I mean, it's ripe fruits for sure, which is interesting coming from such a cool weather climate as Fort Ross, Seaview, in Sonoma. There's a lot of really good ripe fruit character coming from this, which is very like classic Ramey. They get a lot of really strong flavors and aromas out of their fruit. So this is like lemon curd. I don't know if you've ever had lemon curd. They sell it in the grocery store in the like British food section. Lemon curd, tangerine, kiwi, a slight chalky minerality to it, almost like a real soft rock that you might like a I don't know, like a limestone or a sandstone that really kind of busts apart really easily, that you might find on like a riverbed or a cliffside. So definitely in the ripe fruit category, and that's where I'm getting more lemon curd, which is definitely on the riper, more full-bodied spectrum of citrus, along with that kind of tangerine. And then I'm even starting to pick up some tropical fruit like that kiwi. No real like pineapple or mango, but definitely some kind of like kiwi or like mangosteen, something like that. Okay, so that's aroma. Let's get into the taste. Remember guys, first thing we like to assess when we actually take a sip of the wine is the structure. Acid, tannin, body. Again, white wine, no tannin. Really easy on that front. Acidity, beautiful, sharp. Mouth is still watering. Still watering. Done. So I'm going to call that probably, we're like in that medium plus acidity here, which is crazy to me. The thing I love so much about Ramey wines is that acidity is sharp and beautiful and punchy and zingy, but because these wines go through malolactic fermentation, because they are fermented in oak, it has a very creamy body. So I don't know if I would call this full-bodied Chardonnay. I think it's definitely medium plus, almost to full-bodied. very strong intensity of flavor. Really kind of yellow apple, lemon curds coming through, almost like an English muffin, nice toasted English muffin with some lemon curd on it. Not brioche, not super yeasty like champagne, but definitely a kind of a toasty bread, doughy kind of bread thing with that lemon curd, some yellow apple. The kiwi is there. There is a little pineapple now on the back of the palate with that. I think it's that acidity that kind of makes that pineapple really kind of come through, because pineapple is such an acidic fruit, but is still very considered like tropical ripe fruit. You have those tropical fruit flavors, but because of that acidity, it's turning more into pineapple now. And again, body, definitely on that medium plus to leading towards full-bodied. I mean, this is a Chardonnay that I think could work as just a like pop it and sip it. Doesn't have to have food. There's so much awesome stuff going on with this Chardonnay. But if I were to pair it with a food, a sea bass is the first thing that's coming to mind. A really nice fatty, flaky sea bass is really kind of coming to mind here. I mean, maybe a nice kind of rich broth that it's floating in, really crispy skin, beautiful, beautiful kind of composition of food with that nice meaty sea bass to go with this beautiful, almost full-bodied Chardonnay. I think would work perfectly. Some rich miso broth or something going on in there, maybe a shrimp dumpling thrown in as well. Ramey Chardonnay, guys, that's Tasting with Intent, Wine Tasting 101, Wine Tasting Tuesday. Thanks for being here with me, and tune in tomorrow for Pinot Noir Wednesdays. Later, guys.